Hi guys, hope you're doing well at home, hope you're staying out of trouble. This is our first video for regular algebra. So just recap of what we did last week before you guys got out of school. We did combining like terms. That was our first lesson with polynomials. It was just adding and subtracting, which is just combining like terms. You don't do anything with the exponents. Remember, you just have to check that they have the same variables and exponents, and then you can add or subtract them. Then we did a monomial times a polynomial, and that was just distributive property. But we had to, when we multiplied with exponents, you add your exponents, remember. And then there were some combining like terms in that too. So today's lesson is the next lesson in this unit with polynomials, and we are going to multiply binomials today. So you can either click the PDF that I've included with this lesson and just follow along, write down some work on a separate sheet of paper. If you have a printer, you can print the notes, but it's not required. I'm not going to collect any of the notes. What you're going to get a grade on is the assessment at the end of the week, where you can just use the notes to help you on that assessment. If you really wish you had the guided notes like I do at school, always for you, there are packets in the office for the entire 3 weeks, the notes that we'll be taking online. You can go get a copy of those from the office at school. So that is an option for you as well, but not at all required. You can just copy along on a piece of paper on your computer or on your phone, whatever device you're using to look at these notes. So I'm going to get you started here, do some of the examples. You can do more if you want, but also not required. And then on Thursday, when I post the assessment, I will also post a time, probably actually I'll post the time before. We will have a live chat option, so you can come on, ask any questions that you have over the notes that you did on your own, and then I'll be able to help you. So just trying to figure this out. All right, let's get started. So here are your notes for today, multiplying binomials. This little bit right here says, to multiply binomials, distribute each term in the first binomial to each term in the other binomial, then combine like terms. This order of distributing is frequently referred to as the FOIL method. So this right here is one binomial. A binomial just has two terms. So you'll also see it here. This x plus 2 is the first binomial. And then the second binomial in this example is the c plus d. And so this one is the x plus 4. So what they've shown in this is this FOIL. FOIL stands for first, outer, inner, last. And what that means is you're going to multiply. If you're doing first, you're multiplying your first terms. A, and there's this arrow here to the first term in the other binomial. So A times C is AC. Outer is going to be your outside terms. So your outside terms are A and D, and you'll see this arrow here. A times D is going to be AD. And then inner are the inside terms right here. So that's this right here, B times C, BC. And then last are your last terms, B and D. B times D is BD. I think it's more confusing with letters like this, because we obviously can't combine anything together. But with actual binomials, we might make a little bit more sense. So for first, we're going to do x times x. I'll draw this arrow here. X times x is x squared. You guys know that. Outer is going to be this x times this 4. So we'll take this arrow. X times 4 right here is going to be 4x. It's a positive term, so I'm going to put a plus sign, 4x. Inner is the inside terms here. 2, God bless you, Sam. 2 times x is 2x. It's a positive term, so we'll put 2x. And then last, 2 times 4, draw that arrow there. 2 times 4 is 8, so plus 8. Now, most of the time, remember we never say always in math, but most of the time, your inner terms are going to be like terms, and you'll add them together. X squared plus 6x plus 8 is what it's going to end up being. That is your answer. That is simplified. That is the answer to a binomial times a binomial. Here's another example. So this one now has a positive binomial and then a minus right here. So 2x times x is going to be for our first. 2x times x is going to be 2x squared. Outer, 2x times my minus 5. We're going to use that minus as a negative then. So 2x times a negative 5 is going to be a negative 10x. Inner, 1 times x, is going to be a positive 1x. Stop pushing on the table on me. Don't do that. And then 1 times negative 5 right here is a negative 5. So again, my inside terms are like terms, and I can combine those together. Negative 10x plus 1x is a negative 9x minus 5. Now I have students a lot of times say, like, can't I just like distribute this times this, and then like this times this? Well, that's what we're doing, right? But when we follow FOIL, and we do it in this order, our binomial ends up being in standard form. We talked about standard form last week, and so we have highest exponent first, and then the constant at the end, right? Which is what we want to do. Okay, so let's do a couple more examples. Y times y first is y squared. Outer, y times 1 is plus 1y. You can just put plus y also, but I'm going to leave the 1 because that'll help when we're combining like terms later. Inner, 8 times y is 8y. And then last, 8 times 1 is 8. Oh, this should be the ugly y. And then we're going to combine our like terms right here. 1 plus 8 is 9y plus 8. Okay. Things to remember. Just watch your negatives, right? Let's do this one, number 9 together. 8h times 3h for our first is 24h squared. 8h times a negative 1 for outer is minus 8h. Negative 3 times 3 is minus 9h. And then last, negative 3 times a negative 1 is a plus 3. So really watch that, right? That's going to make a difference in the end. Combining like terms here, a negative plus a negative is a negative. So we'll have a negative 17h. Sam, can you get off the table? You're making my line swiggle, please. Thank you. 17h plus 3, 24h squared. I've got a buddy here trying to help. But really, he's just getting in my way. Okay, stop doing that. On the back of this paper, I don't know why it printed this way. On the back of this paper, so these are all still binomial times binomial. What happens when we're squaring? When you're squaring something, you're multiplying it by itself. So to factor, or to simplify this one, to multiply, just rewrite it. X plus 4 times x plus 4. And then that is just going to be FOIL again. This one, same thing, and this one. I do want to look at 13 because something kind of different happens here because this is a positive and a negative, but they're the same terms. 2r times 2r is a 4r squared. Outer 2r times a negative s is a negative 2rs. You want to leave those in alphabetical order, remember? Inner, s times 2r is a plus 2rs. And then last, a plus s and a negative s is going to give us a minus s squared. These then, negative plus a positive of the same thing, those are going to be gone. That's going to be a 0. 4r squared minus s squared is what this is going to end up being. And this is called a difference of squares. And we get into that when we're factoring later in this unit. So the next part, binomial times trinomial, we go x times x, which is x to the third. So this doesn't have any fancy thing. It's just simply you have to distribute this term to all 3 of these terms. And you have to distribute this term to all 3 and then combine like terms. So we don't call it FOIL or anything like that, but this is what we do. So then x times a 3x is plus 3x squared. X times a negative 6 is minus 6x. And then distributing this term here, this 4, to the rest of the trinomial there. 4 times x squared is a plus 4x squared. 4 times 3x is a plus 12x. And 4 times a negative 6 is a minus 24. So let's talk like terms. And we also want it to be in standard form. The directions here. Final answers must be in standard form. So standard form means highest exponent. It's alphabetical and highest exponent first. So x to the third power needs to come first. And then plus 3x squared. I don't have any like terms with those, so I'm just going to write those down. But I do have a negative 6x, a 4x. Oh, shoot, that should be a 4x squared. So let's fix this one. This is going to be a 7x squared, right? So now my like terms are negative 6x and a 12x for the x term. So that's going to be a plus 6x and then minus 24. So let's rewrite it nice because I scratched it out. This is why you don't use pen in math class, guys. There we go. That looks better. Okay. So that's what we're going to do for 20, 21, and 22. Finding an area of a shaded region. We're going to find the area of the outside rectangle and subtract the inside. So I'm going to get it started for you, but then you guys can actually do the multiplication yourself. So area of a rectangle is length times width. Length times width, sorry, pointed at the wrong things. 9x minus 2 times 2x plus 7. But then to find the shaded area, we've got to subtract this inner rectangle. So it's going to be minus the 3x times that x plus 12. Be really careful when you're distributing that you distribute this as a negative 3x. It's got to go to both of those. And then you'll just simplify, combine like terms. All right. So there's day one.